And we should be live. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for being back. Hello, Jana. Thank you for being here with us.
Hello, Bogdan.
My name is Bogdan, so you might know me already from my previous session. Some of you were on my previous live in the BeWell Summit. As you know by now, the BeWell Summit is all about bringing different speakers and different perspectives into the discussion, just talking about pain and what we can do to avoid pain or to manage it if that's the case. And actually, Jana, I've met Jana several years ago. I think it's been 3 or 4 years, something like that, when I started working with essential oils. So one thing led to another, and in the end, we started organizing some classes in her yoga studio, talking about essential oils. But besides that, we've talked a lot about mindfulness and movement and just general healthy lifestyle choices. So Jana did study clinical pharmacy, and she was also interested in natural medicine and all the other good things. But I'll let you, Jana, say a couple of things about yourself rather than me just blabbering here on and on. So what are you doing nowadays? Because I know that you're also working on an interesting project that you started recently.
Yeah, I started to work on my project Balance in September.
Mhm.
And it's still in its very beginnings, and what I did for last 10 years was, teaching yoga and Pilates and these things. I had yoga studio Namaste in Prague 6. And so now I wanted to focus a little bit more on also on different things like nutrition and especially health coaching, which is something like bringing all the things together, including nutrition and exercise and sleep and the whole lifestyle, because everything is influenced, with other things. Nothing is just black and white as it is in life. So I wanted to move a little bit forward. Yeah. So therefore I decided to sell the studio and focus on different things. Even though I don't want to say that yoga and Pilates I left it. No, not at all. They are still, an important and essential part of my life, and I suppose they always be.
Well, it's always nice to have new beginnings because that also brings some change and some excitement. And as you say, I know very well that feeling when you sort of start a new project and you focus on new things. That doesn't mean that the old ones are left behind. It just means that you integrate new things and you have an even better perspective on everything.
And you need to maybe create space for something else. Yeah.
I really love that. So Jana and Natalia are also on the live and they are saying hi. I think you cannot see the comments. So I'll be the middleman between you and the comments on Facebook and everything else. I must say we are really lucky. Facebook was down for most of the day. I didn't want to tell you that before we went live because that could have added some extra stress. And they just got back online quickly, just shortly before I went live. So we are lucky. So your session or your topic is just prevention of pain through balanced lifestyle, and you're talking about small changes that we can all do in our daily routine, and that can help us live pain-free. How did you get to this idea for the session? What was behind it?
Well, I read topics all of the other speakers, which are very interesting, and I was thinking, what I should, with what I can contribute, what I know the best. And I was thinking, because I was interested in, I have been interested in self-healing and natural medicine since I was 16 years old through my own story. And in prevention, maybe a little bit more from the time when I was at the university and I studied pharmacy and all the drugs and everything and these quick solutions and so on. And then when I was working at pharmacy and I saw so many people who came to the pharmacy with, different kinds of pain, and I kind of felt that many of the pains the people suffered from can be prevented. For example, when I saw a obese young woman who was in her early 30s maybe, and she was complaining about severe pain in her knees, and talking that she had to take a tablet of ibuprofen every 4 hours to be able to function. And I felt that if she just made a little change in her life, and so maybe she could be without pain, that it's not necessary for her to suffer. So I started to focus more and more on this part. And even when I studied and when we had physiology and anatomy lessons, we were told that 80% of diseases are preventable, that they are influenced by our lifestyle. And even then, which is 1996, 7 or something like this, so 80%, it's a huge number, so why should we suffer if we can prevent the pain, just the way we live, just by the way we live, yeah.
Well, it's interesting because you say like it was 96 or 97, but actually we sort of knew that since ancient times. Like if you look back in China, this is something that's still very valid.
Yeah, what I meant, it was interesting to hear it, from somebody who teaches, pharmacy and pharmacology and something, that they were willing to admit that, that it's not only about drugs, that it's also about nutrition and lifestyle and so on.
Perfect start. So, what do you want to focus on? Because you said you have different tips and tricks or different ideas. What's your approach, or how do you want to go to the content?
Also, I would like to focus mainly on pain, which is caused by our hectic lifestyles, not on the pain which is caused by any, genetic disease or something like this. And I would like to start with this, with the Buddha quote, who said that nothing lasts forever. No, nothing is forever except change, which is so true. And our lives are dynamic processes; they change constantly. So nothing is for sure. Nothing will last forever. So we need to adjust every day to many things, to our environment, to different time zones, to our relationships, family situations, our work and so on. So every day we need to find a new balance and new stability in our messy and unpredictable lives. And sometimes the change can bring attention or even different kind of pain, either physical or emotional, into our lives. And then there are many different ways how we can deal with it, and it will be probably the topic of my colleagues. So I'm not going to in details with that, but what I wanted to say is that pain, or sometimes it starts with a tension in the body, and it doesn't have to be physical pain. It could, or physical tension. It's just a feeling somewhere in the body, or that something is not right. That we do something which is not in synchronicity or in harmony with what we need right at that moment. And if we don't listen to these feelings or tension or kind of pain, maybe, then our body will send us a stronger signal in a kind of disease or flu or attack of stomachache or migraine, insomnia and so on. And then it's much more difficult to ignore this pain. So we need to not react. We should do something about it if we want to be relieved or something like this. So there are many small actions or things which we can do to live healthier and happy life, to thrive. And again, it's different for each of us because, we prioritize different aspects of our lifestyle. We care more about one, for example, career, and we don't care so much about the others. So we like to sleep, or, we eat a lot of junk food, or I don't know, we don't, go out with our friends. There are many, many ways. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do, I think, is to focus and work on the self-care, and it's not about being selfish, and, to accept that self-care is as important as our to-do list, as that is not something which can wait till there is some spare time, because most probably this would never happen, because there will be always something which is more urgent than, sleep, or going for a walk, or, meditation, or something like this. So we need to schedule, or, create some time in our agenda for something like this, for something which makes us happy, what fulfill us. If it's reading, drawing, meditation, cooking, anything. Yeah, so we can share our energy with others if we don't have enough for ourselves. Yeah, or if there is nothing left to give. Gift.
Mm-hmm. Give or gift, I think both of them work.
And at the same time, I wanted to say that if you want to change something in your life, it should be a sustainable change. So it's better start maybe small, and choose one or two little things which you will change, and then stay with it for some time and make it a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Or a pattern. And when it becomes natural to you, then you can add another thing and move on, And what is very important is to be aware of the motivation, of your inner motivation. Why this? Why do you want to change particularly this area of your life? So maybe this should be, just a general intro or something like this.
I really like the structure, as you said, because in so many cases, we can be easily overwhelmed when we read a book or something about lifestyle choices and whatnot.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things we can do. And then we can get overwhelmed and we can get stuck in that place where, oh, there's too much to do. I don't know where to start, so I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
That can also be an excuse. And also, I really love the fact that you said, like, hey, when we are taking care of ourselves, it's not selfish.
Yeah.
Because I like to think of it, if if the others get the best version of myself, it's better for them as well. So I really love that you've mentioned that as well.
Yeah, and one more thing, maybe if you decide or chose to change something, it shouldn't be perceived by yourself like another task on your to-do list. It shouldn't be perceived like a different kind of stress for yourself. It should be something you are looking forward to, or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is very important aspect. It shouldn't be another duty, or something I have to do because I said so.
that never really works.
Yeah. So now I think we can go to different aspects of our lifestyles, and maybe say some tips, small tips, what we can do to improve this particular aspect of our lifestyle. And it won't be definitely, the complete list of things which we can do. It should be just, some inspiration. Maybe you will have different tip which will work for you, which that makes you happy. And please feel free to share it in the comments. Because everybody wants to be inspired and motivated by the others. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I forgot to mention that at the beginning, or to remind you, please, please, please feel free to contribute to the conversation. So I can see the comments, I can bring them in the discussion. Earlier, I've posted one of Jana's comments on the screen. So feel free, if you have any questions or anything, contribute to the discussion.
Yeah. So I think one or first big topic, which is usually very underestimated, is sleep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sleep, everybody heard that it is very important and essential, to have enough of deep and restorative sleep, that it is very essential part of your health. Because during sleep, your body regenerates and detoxifies. A lot of repair in the body is done during night, and good sleep is important for the body, to have enough energy. So in the morning you can jump off the bed and be ready for the day. Many people, and they consider it to be normal, wake up tired already in the morning, and they are as exhausted as they went when they went to bed the night before. And when something like this happens, you start your day already in a bad mood, exhausted, and then the state of mind and the state of the body, influences the whole biochemistry of your body. The level
Mm-hmm.
of stress hormones, and the way how you are going to, if you are going to use glucose for fuel or fat for the fuel. Everything is influenced by this. So to have a good sleep, your immunity, if you have enough sleep, your immunity is strong. If when you sleep enough, when you sleep well, you won't gain weight. No, not so many people know this, that good sleep is important to keep the healthy weight of the body. So if you can eat perfectly healthy, but if you won't sleep and work with the stress, then you probably won't be able to keep the healthy weight. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally adults should sleep between 7 and 9 hours a day, and it's different for everybody, because we are different individuals. You can know that you slept enough when you wake up and you feel refreshed. When you don't feel tired, you have enough energy to start your day in in the right mood. So this is how you will know that you slept enough. And good, and recommended to every day at the same time, and to wake up at the same time as well. It even during the weekends, to keep it the same.
Mm-hmm.
This is good to keep your body synchronized with the circadian rhythms. So your body kind of predicts how your day will look like. If you wake up the same every day at 7 a.m., your body says, okay, so this is going to happen next, and it helps it to be balanced, and not to be stressed. Okay. So what we usually do, we go to the bed later and later, just to be able to finish more things from our to-do list, and then we wake up early because we need to go to work, take children to the school, and so on. And we are sleep deprived, with all the consequences. So important to make it. I sleep to bed midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And stress hormones. Actually, I know. The way how you are going to, if you are, and it's good to give it a check and check the feel, and if you then it works for you, and it's good to keep it like this. Yeah. Yeah, and small changes which you can try to improve your sleep, to fall asleep better, is to get off the screen, ideally 2 hours before you go to bed, before your bedtime, at least 1 hour. Yeah, to lower the exposure to the blue light, because blue light, which is emitted by our screens or televisions, disturbs the rise of the melatonin. Melatonin is the sleep hormone, which levels of the melatonin rise after sunset. Sunset is the right word, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we are exposed to the blue light, then the level of melatonin is not sufficient to help us fall asleep. So therefore, this is very important. Then it's also good, and some people are more sensitive to caffeine than the others, but it's usually recommended not to drink any caffeinated drinks late in the afternoon or even in the evening, especially coffee. But it also applies to caffeinated drinks like lemonades and energy drinks and so on. It will all disturb your sleep. Then another important thing to be able to fall asleep quickly is to avoid eating 3 hours before the bedtime. Yeah, this is important because your stomach and the small intestine should be empty before, or especially the stomach should be empty before you go to sleep, because then your body doesn't have to spend energy on digestion and can dedicate its energy to the repair and regeneration of the body during the night. Another thing which can help you, and at this time it's more about to calm down, to relax the mind, is to try short meditation or just simple, easy breathing practice. You can try just lie in the bed and put your hands on the stomach and breathe deeply through the nose into the stomach. Try to expand this area, not only to the front, but in all directions. And then exhale. You can exhale through the mouth or through the nose. And just start to count the exhales, because the exhale helps you to activate the relaxation mode in the body. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system through the nervus vagus, and then it's better. Then it's easier to fall asleep. So 30 cycles of breath like this. Count from 1 to 10. Yeah, and you are fine. Okay, and for somebody, maybe it will work that to write a journal and just shortly describe what happened to you during the day, just to reflect, on the events in your day, to integrate them and, to work with them a little bit, to clean the head, before you go to sleep. Or maybe you can try to write a gratitude journal, just write down 3 things which you are grateful for or thankful for, that day, maybe somebody to whom you help to make a better day or something like this. Yeah, so these are my tips, for better sleep.
I really like the tips, and as you said, there are like small things that you can try. You don't have to go with all of them at once.
Yeah.
We did have a question about, like, Andrea was asking what happens if you suffer from insomnia, and I would say that, like, my take in this is that insomnia could have deeper roots So of course you can try lots of this kind of small changes and see what works for you, and you can add other things. Jana was mentioning essential oils, so they can help as well.
Yeah. Drop
Jana,
oil on your pillow or something like this. Yeah.
do you have any input on this part with insomnia or?
Insomnia, yeah, there are different kinds of insomnia. I know the one when you can't fall asleep at all, or the one when you wake up at different time during the night and then you can't fall asleep again. Yeah, so yeah, it's very difficult and kind of complicated topic. But for example, if you can't fall asleep, it's good to try some essential oils as you mentioned, or some herbal tea, maybe chamomilla, or you can drink lavender as a herbal tea, as well. Yeah, and yes, meditation could help, and even when you wake up during the night, it's also helpful sometimes to try some meditation, because when we wake up during the night, it's often because we are stressed too much. We are in the head, and our body deals with all the things which we need to do or had to do, or something like this, and therefore we can't fall asleep, or it's some maybe because, for example, when you wake up between 2 or 3 a.m., then it could be connected to some problem with the digestion, because it's a liver time, when the liver is, according to the Chinese medicine, it's its time. Yeah, so yeah, it could be different, very, for each everyone.
That's why I also wanted to sort of bring this question on the table, because while we are talking about small things and habits we can change, it's really difficult to go deep and find or come up with solutions or answers for something that can be such an intense story.
Yeah, this would need a consultation, just with the person.
Exactly.
And really go into details of his day and usual lifestyle to find some imbalances there, and
exactly
probable causes of the insomnia.
One other question, and we'll try to make it short on the live, and maybe we can come with some more ideas in the comments. Like, what do you do if you're not a morning person? How do you get energized in those?
Yeah.
I just want to say something, because I wasn't, or I'm not necessarily a morning person, but just doing some or starting to do some of the things you've mentioned, like having the gratitude journal or just journaling in the evening, allowed me to empty my mind. So in the morning, I was more refreshed. So this is just one example.
Yes, of course, when you are used to go to bed, around midnight or 1 p.m. even, it's not possible to start going to bed at 10 p.m., at the beginning, so your body needs to adjust to that. So it's good, to start, moving your bedtime to earlier times, maybe first week or maybe even more, go to bed 30 minutes before you usually go, and then when you adjust to that, you can go to even earlier, and then slowly get to this 10 to 11 p.m. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So let's move to the food, which is one of my favorite topics. And again, I don't want to go in too much details here, because it's a very broad topic and we could spend hours and hours talking just about that. And so I don't want to say any, particular things like eat so much protein and so much fat and so much carbohydrates and so on, so many milligrams of this vitamin. or mineral. But again, I would like to keep it in the general level. I would be happy to answer the questions after the presentations if there are any. And the title is Real Food, and real food, by that I mean the whole food. I mean the clean food, the food which is not processed. And because what you eat, you'll become. All the food we eat, all the food we put in our mouth is broken down, digested, and absorbed, and then it becomes, components of our cells or some important chemicals or molecules in our bodies, such as enzymes and hormones and neurotransmitters. And as Katarzyna said already yesterday, the majority of your serotonin, your happiness hormone is produced in the gut. So, everything is connected. Even how you feel, is connected to the food you eat. So when we eat, this clean whole food, ideally, grown or produced without no use of pesticides or herbicides, which is rich in nutrients, it's much more easier for the body to digest it, and to use it as a fuel or, and to in the structure of the cells. And the body can, focus on absorption of macronutrients and micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, and doesn't have to deal with and detoxify, different chemicals which are used in the processed food to prolong its shelf life and to make it smell better and feel better, taste better, and to have better color, and something like this. Yeah, because when we eat food like this, processed food in this at the moment, then the liver is very busy with getting rid of these chemicals which we are not which we weren't evolved to eat and to digest. Yeah, so I think it would be just generally to the food and just few tips about nutrition. I like this one. It's to drink the first thing in the morning, and you go to the kitchen or something like this to pour yourself a drink of the glass of water, preferably filtered water, or even better, water with lemon, to hydrate the body after the whole night, because as I said before, during sleep, many processes in the body happens, and our body gets into acidosis, the acidic state. And the lemon, even though it feels acidic and it tastes acidic, it's putting the body back into balance. It help the body to I don't know the word, alkalize. Yeah.
Get back to the alkaline. Yeah.
Age is getting back. So yeah, and when you can, the water doesn't have to be cold if you don't like cold liquid on an empty stomach. So you can boil the water and then mix it with cold water, make it a little bit lukewarm or something like this. And during that time, when you boil the water, you can breathe. You can do your morning meditation practice to not to start thinking immediately about your busy day. Yeah. So many things can happen during that short time. Yeah. So
can I just say something quickly? This can also help if you're not a morning person.
Yeah.
Instead of boiling your coffee first, going for the water and lemon, and maybe coffee later. So that's also something that
much later. Much later. Yeah, because also coffee is one of the strongest drinks. Strong. It puts your body again back into acidic state, so it's even more important to drink water, with the coffee or after the coffee to hydrate the body. But please save your coffee for later. Yeah, maybe 2 hours after you wake up, if possible, of course, Yeah, so then you probably heard that, you must heard that it's important to eat a lot of vegetables. Yeah, I studied a lot of theories about nutrition, and what all of them had in common was, eat a lot of vegetables. So try to have, vegetables, especially the green ones, as much as possible, and one way how you can bring more vegetables into your diet is to drink green juices or smoothies or something like this. But here I would like to mention that especially when you prepare a green juice, it's important to not to put too much fruit in the juice, because the juice is without fiber, and the fructose from the fruit would go directly into your blood and then into the liver, and it's not something which would need. Yeah. So when I say green juices, I mean lot of vegetables and just little bit of fruit with lower content of glucose, such as green apples or pears or something like this, just to make it a little bit sweet, but not too much. Yeah.
I completely agree.
Smoothies are a different story, because in smoothies you have the whole fruit with all the fiber. It just blended, and it's like food with which is easier digestible. Yeah, so it's easier on the stomach, and it can go faster through the digestive system, and also it brings a lot of nutrients into the body. So you can consider the green juice like a liquid natural multivitamin, Okay. Yeah. Another important thing, and I'm sure Jana would mention that, is eating mindfully. Yeah. So take your time to sit down with every meal. Lay a table. No, you don't need to lay the table, but it should be in a nice surrounding. There shouldn't be no papers around you on the table. Just save the time for your meal and bite every mouthful, which bite it properly, because the digestion already starts by smelling the food. When you see the food or you smell the food, or sometimes even when you think about the food, the whole process of digestion starts. So
I'm starting already.
Yeah, so when you put the food in your mouth, it's necessary to chew it properly, and swallow it, and so your stomach doesn't have a lot of work to do, and especially with some heavier food or something like this. Yeah. Okay, and then if possible, try to eat fresh food, I mean food made from scratch or homemade food, especially if possible, again, it's nothing is dogma or what I say, it's food which is grown, which is local, ideally, and grown and organically, so no pesticides, no herbicides, and things like that. Last small tip which I would like to share with you is that it's good, or to let your digestive system to rest between the meals. Yeah, to allow your stomach to empty before you send it another portion of food. Especially this is important, and again, you mentioned that before with the sleep, after your last meal and before the breakfast. Yeah, so that there is enough time, for the body to fast, because breakfast mean, to break the fast, so your body should be fasting during the night.
Mm-hmm.
So this was about food. So another important aspect of our lifestyles is physical activity. And this is also one of my favorite topics, because I spent my last 10 years just teaching yoga and mindful movement, Pilates. Human body was evolved to move. Yeah, our ancestors spent significant part of their days, just on their feet, finding and looking for food, to feed themselves or feed the families. And the food became abundant after Industrial Revolution. So it just 19th century, so 200 years ago. And it's very short time, for evolution of a human being, So our body is not used to sedentary lifestyles. So we moved most of our days, before. So the movement should be, and when I say movement, I don't mean spending time in the gym. When I say movement, I mean walking, jogging, dancing, or a natural movement. So just going for a walk or going two floors upstairs, is considered as a movement. Doing the house, chores at the house is a good workout. So everything can be considered like physical activity. And also physical activity contributes to your good sleep. When you move, your digestion is better, and then you can sleep better. Your metabolism is faster, immunity is stronger. So again, everything is connected together. So physical activity is very important part, or should be important part of our lifestyle. And regarding physical activity, I know that many of us need to sit during the day behind the computer at work or something like this. So then it's even more important when you choose to move, to do something which you enjoy, which you like. So it should be, it shouldn't put stress on your body. It should be something you like to do, or so for somebody it can be running, for somebody it can be dancing, for somebody it can be yoga, and everything is fine. There is no, again, dogma or rule, that it has to be this way, that only this kind of movement is the best one, and So few small tips again regarding movement is, as I said before, when you work on the third floor, don't take the elevator and just walk upstairs, or during the lunch break, if you have time, go for a short walk, because every minute counts. And sometimes, what sometimes people are discouraged from regular physical activity, by thinking, okay, 60 minutes, it's too much time, I need to go to the gym, and then I need to go back, and I don't like to sweat, and so on. So it can be overwhelming. So it's fine to start with 10 minutes, 20 minutes of the movement, and again, then just add, it doesn't have to be an hour or more, and you can take breaks, more times a day, which is always better than to do one long session and get exhausted completely after that, and also important thing is to spend some time outdoor, not just because of the vitamin D, but during the day we should be exposed to the blue light, and I don't mean just the blue light from the screens, but the blue light from the sun. Yeah, and again, it correlates with the levels of serotonin, the happiness, So when you are outside and the sun is shining and you get, enough sunshine, then you feel happier, you feel you are in better mood. So it's important to spend some time outdoor, definitely. And there were studies that our children, spend less time outdoors than prisoners in the prison, So that's something we should think about too. Yeah. And the last tip, to start a physical activity is find a friend, and do it with her or with him. Yeah, it's always so you can also, um, share this together, and it's another topic is the social life and relationship. So 2 in 1. Okay.
Nice transition.
Yeah. So social life. Long time already. Yeah. Okay. Social life and
we can speed things up if you want, or we can stay longer. That's also okay.
We still have 1, 2, 3, 4 topics to cover. So I will try to keep it short. Social life. This is another story, because human beings are social creatures, and nobody wants to feel alone. Feeling alone is one of the causes of depression. That's what people with depression or anxiety suffer, or mostly depression. They suffer from feeling that they are alone, that nobody understands them. So we all long for love, for connection. We want to belong somewhere. We want to be part of a community. So even though social media are very, helpful to stay in touch with people who live far away from us, it's also very important to meet our friends and our families, in person, and to share, to listen to them, to support them, to share our stories, worries, joy, to make these connections which are very fulfilling and satisfying, and which makes us happy. And sometimes, to see the person, to be with him, to feel his energy, one gesture can be sometimes more than 1,000 words, So this is also, everything is important, and I know I keep repeating it, I can't help it, but there were many studies on this topic, and for example, small babies who are, in some institutional care without parents, they don't grow so quickly, they don't thrive, they don't, develop as good as children or small babies who are in loving environment, in families, even though all of the babies have, the proper nutrition and they are taken care of, the difference is huge, when you don't feel loved or connected to somebody, So, and the same is with the seniors, with older people, who live without their families, or they are already alone and they don't have anybody to connect with her. Their, state of health is very often much worse than their friends who or somebody who is lucky enough to have somebody in his or in her life. So here I just want to say that find some time to call a friend who you haven't seen for some time, or go for a coffee with somebody, make time for connections like this. I think that's the most important thing in this area. Then we are getting to spirituality. And spirituality, it doesn't mean religion, or because even an atheist can have very rich spiritual practice. Because many of us, or almost all of us, are looking for a meaning in our lives, for purpose, why we are here right now on this mission, why we are here. So this we can find, or through our spiritual practice. And by spiritual practice, I mean you can of course believe in God and go to church regularly, or you can practice yoga, you can practice some breathing techniques, you can practice mindfulness, you can practice gratitude, you can write a journal, work with the visualizations, prayers, and so on. There are so many methods which can be used and which are very helpful and beneficial in this field, So again, find a technique which will work for you, with which you feel comfortable, and just start doing it. A few minutes a day. And from my experience, it's not sufficient. It's not sufficient to just to read about it, and, or talking about it. Really important is to start, actually. Yeah. And sometimes it can be hard, because not only pleasant things can come up during the meditation or breathing practice or something like this, but deep inside, you will probably feel that it makes you happy, and that it's what you need, what belongs there. Yeah. So again, start small, 1-2 minutes a day, just focus on the breath, and then you can continue from here to anywhere it will lead you, so that's yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that you mentioned that there are so many approaches. There are many ways that lead to the top of the mountain. But also, I think it's important to say that it's good if you try something, if you start something, stick to it for a while until you see the results, and then change or drop it if it's not working. Don't start 10 things at the same time. And
quickly about creativity. Creativity, yes. When we were children, it was very easy for us to play and to behave silly, we were princess at one moment and witch at the other moment, and we sang when we felt like it, and we danced when we wanted. And as we aged and we became adults, many of us lost this playfulness and creativity, imagination, So again, it's good to look inside, or try to look inside and find this inner child who is inside us. And it's there, it's waiting for us, and, we can rediscover it again, So, and, I can hear that a lot of people say, I'm not creative. I can't draw. I can't sing. I can't dance. It doesn't matter. Everybody is creative, some way. So, yeah. So don't worry about that. If you like coloring, now they're on the market. There are so many coloring books, So pick one. Yes. I have them in the shelf behind me. Yeah, and take the pencil and start coloring. It's so relaxing. Yeah, and the same if you like cooking. Try a new recipe. Or if you are worried I can't cook. Start small. As always. And when you hear your favorite song and you are at home, or somewhere when you feel safe, just start dancing or singing. Try to be free for a moment and creative. Yeah, it's also very freeing, I would say. Yeah. Okay, so maybe we can finish here. Yeah, so for the end, I would like to say that we are all designers of our lives. We have the power. We have the power to change things which doesn't serve us, which don't make us happy or satisfied. So be honest with yourself. Try to be aware, in which areas of your life you would need more and when you would need less of different aspects of different fields we were talking about, and try to find something, try to decide what you can change. And again, as I said, pick one or two small things at the beginning, try them for some time. I think it's said that to create a habit you need 21 days at least, or a month. Yeah, so stick with the thing you chose, for that time, and then when it becomes too natural to you, you can add something new. Um, and I would like to stress or emphasize again that it shouldn't be another task on your to-do list. It shouldn't be perceived as a stress for you. It should feel good. It should feel, yeah. So try to be patient and kind to yourself, because there is no failure and just a new beginning. Yeah. So with this little wisdom of mine, I would finish my presentation.
Oh, well, thank you. I surely have some ideas that, well, some of the things I have to start doing again, like drinking the lemon water in the morning, because I was so much on the road that I got out of that habit. So a good
Yeah.
reminder. And also the coloring book, which was on my
Yeah.
desk that I haven't touched in a long time. So, so thank you for all the nuggets, and thank you for the reminders of, hey, we don't have to change everything at once. We can just go one by one. So thank you for being here with us for the summit. I hope everybody enjoyed the tips. And as I said earlier, if anybody else has any questions, even after we finish the session live, Jana will be happy to answer your questions today, tomorrow, till the end of the day, and some of the other participants might also contribute to the conversation.
Okay.
So thank you,
Thank you.
Jana. Thank you, everybody else, for joining. And
Yeah.
see you tomorrow for the next session in the BeWell Summit.
Good night.
Good night.